Good morning, children. In this series of competitive English, today we are doing word power, enriching vocabulary, word power synonyms, and discussing their proper use in day to day spoken English. Well, friends, today's words will be, they will begin from the alphabet A. The first word is abandon. 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 I pronounce the word abandon. The past form is abandoned. To leave behind. To leave completely, or to give up completely. The house at the very threshold of the forest was abandoned. There is no one staying there because of the fear of wild animals. So the house at the brink of the forest has been abandoned. The residents have left the house. The second word is abated, reduce. The abated rate of interest on in bank has really affected our economy. The third word is abominable, unpleasant, extremely unpleasant, disgusting. Yeah, the conversation and the aggression between the two speakers became abominable for the listener. The listener could not tolerate their, unpleasant conversation. Abominable. His, his way of reacting to our question was quite abominable. It was not pleasant, it was unpleasant. Abrogate, end a law or an agreement. The Maharashtra government is in habit of abrogating law in its state and taking revenge from the press reporters. The recent case of Arnav and his assault by the Maharashtra police as an example of how the Maharashtra government has abrogated law and taken everything out of the constitution. So this clearly suggests that there have been some cases of abrogation in some of the states. Abstemious, 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 moderate or restrained. Yeah, some of the people have abstemious nature. Absurdly, a state of being ridiculed. Yeah, the man often spoke stammering in between and creating a ridicule. That means his speech was completely, an example of absurdly conversation. The absurdity in his conversation was reflected when he often stammered and laughed in between his conversation. Abundant, 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 plenty. There is abundant, possibility of raw materials inside the earth. Abuse, to say something insulting. The press reporter was abused by the police. Accentuate, make more noticeable or prominent. Emphasizing in between his conversation was an accentuation of his ideas and perception. Accomplish, to perform, to achieve. Yeah, every child must try his best to accomplish in the best way in academics because parents have greater expectations from their words. Any accomplishment by a child is an attribute to the parent itself. Now, adequate, sufficient. There is adequate possibility, or there is adequate facility of providing education in India. India has been growing as a center of education, so there is an adequate arrangement for educating both boys and girls. Acquaint, to make someone familiar with. Let me acquaint you with my friend Mr. Khanna, who has been a chancellor of the universities. Acquire, to achieve. Knowledge acquired is always a boon to every individual. We must try to acquire as much knowledge as possible because it is an attribute to an individual. Adversary. Adversary is one's opponent. Now, while while debating on a topic, we must notice the statement of our adversary, and then we try to cross-examine the points given by them. Averse, no, affiliate, to officially attach or connect to an organization. Colleges must get affiliated to some universities granted by UGC, University Grant Commission. Otherwise, they will have no right to run classes. Agreeable, appropriate. The statement spoken by the speaker is agreeable as there is no, contradiction or conflict from the opponents. Mm, allegiance, loyalty. The government of India has an allegiance to United Nations organizations for its justified statement given against terrorism. Amazement, surprise. It was quite an amazement to see you after a long time. Amiable, friendly. We must show amiable nature. We must be amiable to every guest that comes to us, because when we are exhibiting amiable behavior, that is really a sign of good etiquette. Two more words. Uh, Ample, a lot. There is ample possibility of your doing better in academics. Two more questions. Mm, Antagonize, cause to become hostile. Don't try to antagonize your neighbors or your friends, because you are often giving contradictory statements that may antagonize the friends and they will become hostile to you. And the last word, anticipation, expectation or prediction. In the Bihar election, there is not yet any anticipation of NDA coming into government again, because there is still, a mixed feeling that NDA may not get the adequate number of seats for forming the government. So there is no anticipation so far of returning Mr. Nitish Kumar to power. There is a confusion all over. That is how I just highlighted some of the words, because words are really power. The more words you have, the better will be your expression. Thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead. This is Mr. Edising on the channel Easy English by Edising, your own channel, your popular channel.